Every summer, many older adults make the same dangerous assumption. They believe that as long as they are sitting quietly inside their own home, they are safe from the heat. Unfortunately, that is not always true. A house can become dangerously hot without feeling like an emergency. The temperature may rise slowly over several hours, and because the change is gradual, the body begins to adjust without sounding a clear warning. You may feel unusually tired, slightly dizzy, less interested in food, or simply not quite yourself. Many people blame these changes on age, poor sleep, or an exhausting day. But during extreme heat, those small changes may be the first signs that the body is beginning to struggle. The risk becomes greater after the age of 60 because the body does not regulate heat as effectively as it once did. You may sweat less or begin sweating later. Your sense of thirst may become weaker, even when your body is already losing fluid. Your heart may also need to work harder to move blood toward the skin, where heat can escape. Certain medications can make this even more difficult by reducing sweating, lowering blood pressure, or increasing fluid loss. This does not mean that every older adult is weak or unhealthy. It simply means that the body's warning system becomes quieter with age. A person can be active, independent, and mentally sharp while still being more vulnerable to overheating than they realize. There are 5 common mistakes that can turn a hot day into a medical emergency. These are not foolish mistakes. They are ordinary decisions made by sensible people who believe they are protecting themselves. The first mistake is assuming that a fan is always enough. A fan can make you feel cooler because moving air helps sweat evaporate from your skin. During moderately warm weather, this can be helpful. But when the air inside the room becomes extremely hot, the situation changes. If the air around you is hotter than your skin, a fan may simply move hot air across your body. It may create the sensation of a breeze without actually lowering your internal temperature. In very hot and humid conditions, sweat may remain on the skin instead of evaporating. You may feel damp, but your body is not releasing heat efficiently. This false sense of comfort can be dangerous. A person may continue sitting in a hot room because the fan is running and the air is moving. Meanwhile, the body is becoming hotter and hotter. Because overheating can cause fatigue and mental fog, the person may become less able to recognize the danger or make the decision to leave. This is why a fan should never be your only protection during severe heat. Air conditioning is far more effective because it lowers the temperature of the air around you. You do not necessarily need to remain in an air-conditioned building all day. Even spending several hours in a properly cooled space can reduce the strain on your body. If you do not have air conditioning at home, identify a cooler place before the hottest day arrives. It may be a library, a community center, a shopping mall, a place of worship, a relative's home, or an official cooling center. Do not wait until you already feel sick to decide where to go. You can also help cool the body directly. A cool shower or bath can lower body temperature more effectively than sitting in front of a fan alone. A damp cloth placed on the back of the neck can also help. Lightly wetting your arms and legs before using a fan gives the moving air moisture to evaporate, which helps pull heat away from the skin. Loose, lightweight clothing is another simple but useful measure. Keep curtains or blinds closed on windows receiving direct sunlight. Avoid using ovens or appliances that add heat to the room. If the upper floor of your home is warmer, spend the hottest part of the day downstairs or in the coolest room available. The goal is not simply to feel a breeze. The goal is to help your body release heat. The second mistake is forgetting that medications can change how your body responds to hot weather. Many people over 60 take daily medication for blood pressure, heart disease, swelling, bladder problems, allergies, sleep difficulties, depression, or other conditions. These medications may be essential, but some can affect hydration, circulation, sweating, or temperature control. Diuretics, often called water pills, are one common example. They help the body remove excess fluid and are frequently prescribed for high blood pressure, heart conditions, or swelling. During a heat wave, however, the body may already be losing fluid through sweat. A diuretic can make dehydration develop more quickly. Some heart and blood pressure medications can reduce the heart's ability to increase circulation during heat exposure. Others may lower blood pressure enough that dehydration causes dizziness, weakness, or fainting. Certain bladder medications, antihistamines, sleep aids, and antidepressants may reduce sweating. Since sweating is one of the body's most important cooling mechanisms, anything that interferes with it can increase the risk of heat illness. The correct response is not to stop your medication. Stopping a prescription suddenly can create a much more serious problem. Blood pressure may rise, heart symptoms may worsen, or another condition may become unstable. Never skip, reduce, or change a medication on your own because the weather is hot. Instead, speak with your doctor or pharmacist before the next period of extreme heat. Ask whether any of your medicines make it harder for your body to stay cool or hydrated. Also ask whether you need special instructions regarding fluid intake, exercise, blood pressure monitoring, or time spent outdoors. It is important to include over-the-counter products in that conversation as well. Many people forget to mention allergy tablets, nighttime sleep products, or cold medicines because they do not think of them as real medications. Yet some of these products can affect sweating, alertness, blood pressure, and hydration. A short conversation with a healthcare professional can help you understand your personal level of risk and prepare for the hottest days of the year. The third mistake is waiting until you feel thirsty before drinking. Thirst is useful, but it becomes less reliable with age. Older adults may not feel thirsty even when their bodies already need more fluid. During hot weather, this delay can become dangerous. You may be losing water through perspiration without realizing how much has been lost. If you also take a diuretic, drink alcohol, consume a large amount of caffeine, or have diarrhea or vomiting, dehydration can develop even more quickly. By the time your mouth feels extremely dry, you may already be significantly dehydrated. Dehydration affects far more than comfort. It can lower blood pressure, increase the workload on the heart, strain the kidneys, worsen constipation, cause headaches, and make falls more likely. It can also contribute to confusion, which may be mistaken for ordinary aging or memory problems. On very hot days, drink regularly instead of waiting for strong thirst. Keep water close to where you spend most of your time. Take small amounts throughout the day rather than waiting and drinking a large quantity all at once. There is no single amount that is right for everyone. Your needs depend on your body size, activity level, health conditions, medications, and how much you are sweating. The most important principle is to drink steadily and consistently. Urine color can provide a rough clue. Pale yellow urine often suggests that hydration is reasonable, while dark, concentrated urine may indicate that you need more fluid. However, this is not a perfect test because vitamins, medications, and certain medical conditions can change urine color. If you have heart failure, kidney disease, liver disease, or another condition that requires fluid restriction, follow the instructions given by your medical team. Do not suddenly increase your water intake beyond the limit they have recommended. Ask how you should manage your fluid restriction during extreme heat. People who sweat heavily for a prolonged period may also lose sodium and other electrolytes. In some cases, a balanced meal, a light salty snack, or an appropriate electrolyte drink may help. However, people with diabetes, kidney disease, or high blood pressure should be cautious with products containing large amounts of sugar or sodium. Alcohol deserves special attention. A cold beer or a glass of wine may feel refreshing, but alcohol can contribute to fluid loss and impair judgment. It may also make you less aware that the room around you is becoming dangerously warm. Caffeine does not need to be eliminated completely for most people, but several large cups of coffee during a very hot day should never replace water. The fourth mistake is trusting how you feel instead of checking your environment. A room does not need to feel unbearable to be dangerous. Indoor temperatures can climb gradually over many hours. Because the change happens slowly, you may adjust without noticing it. You may continue reading, watching television, or resting in a chair while your body struggles to control its temperature. The early symptoms may be easy to dismiss. Fatigue, weakness, headache, mild nausea, irritability, poor concentration, or dizziness may not feel dramatic. Some people simply become quieter or sleepier than usual. That is why you should not depend entirely on your internal sense of comfort. Place an indoor thermometer in the room where you spend the most time. Check it periodically during a heat wave. Pay attention to official weather alerts and the heat index, not only the air temperature. Humidity makes it harder for sweat to evaporate, which can make the same temperature much more dangerous. Plan your day around the heat. Complete necessary outdoor activities early in the morning or later in the evening. Avoid strenuous work during the hottest hours. If you must go outside, remain in the shade whenever possible, wear lightweight clothing, and carry water. Do not assume that being physically fit makes you immune. Gardening, walking, mowing the lawn, or doing home repairs can create considerable heat strain, especially when humidity is high. Living alone creates an additional risk because heat illness can affect thinking before a person realizes they need help. Consider a woman I will call Margaret. She was 76. Lived independently, and managed her own home without difficulty. During one particularly hot week, she avoided using her air conditioner because she was worried about the electricity bill. She kept the curtains open for daylight and used 2 fans in her living room. Margaret also took medication for blood pressure and swelling. One afternoon, her daughter called and noticed that Margaret sounded unusually slow. She repeated herself and seemed unable to follow the conversation. Margaret insisted that she was only tired. Her daughter did not ignore the change. She drove to the house and found the living room extremely hot. Margaret was sitting in a chair, fully dressed, with both fans running. She was awake, but confused and unsteady when she tried to stand. Her daughter moved her into a cooler room, placed wet cloths on her skin, and called for medical help. Margaret recovered, but the situation could easily have ended differently. She had not recognized the danger because confusion was already interfering with her judgment. During extreme heat, arrange a daily check-in. It may be a phone call, a video call, or a visit from a neighbor, friend, or family member. The person checking on you should ask more than whether you feel fine. They should ask about the temperature inside the home, whether you have been drinking, whether you feel dizzy, and whether your thinking feels clear. You should also check on others, especially anyone who lives alone, takes several medications, or has heart, lung, or kidney disease. The 5th mistake is failing to recognize when ordinary overheating has become a medical emergency. Heat-related illness can progress quickly, so it is important to understand the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat exhaustion is a serious warning that the body is struggling. A person may sweat heavily and have cool, pale, or clammy skin. They may experience weakness, dizziness, headache, nausea, muscle cramps, or a rapid pulse. They may also feel faint when standing. At this stage, all activity should stop immediately. Move the person into air conditioning or shade. Help them sit or lie down safely. Loosen unnecessary clothing and cool the skin with wet towels, a cool shower, or a bath. If the person is fully alert, able to swallow safely, and not vomiting, offer small sips of cool water. Do not encourage them to drink a large amount quickly. Monitor them closely. If symptoms worsen, fail to improve, or include chest pain, shortness of breath, fainting, severe weakness, or persistent vomiting, seek medical help. Heat stroke is different. It is a life-threatening emergency. The most important warning sign is a sudden change in mental function. The person may become confused, disoriented, agitated, unusually sleepy, unable to speak clearly, or unable to recognize familiar people. They may stagger, collapse, have a seizure, or lose consciousness. Their skin may be hot and dry, but this is not always the case. A person with heat stroke may still be sweating. Do not wait for the skin to become dry before taking action. Call emergency services immediately. While help is on the way, move the person into a cooler environment and begin rapid cooling. Remove unnecessary outer clothing. Apply cold, wet cloths to the skin. Place cold packs near the neck, armpits, and groin, where large blood vessels are close to the surface. Use a cool shower or bath if it can be done safely. Do not give food, water, pills, or any other drink to someone who is confused, extremely drowsy, having a seizure, or unconscious. They may not be able to swallow properly and could choke. Do not assume that confusion is simply fatigue, age, or dementia. A sudden change in behavior during hot weather must always be taken seriously. Severe overheating can damage the brain, heart, kidneys, liver, and muscles. Early cooling and rapid medical care can make the difference between recovery, permanent injury, and death. The safest approach is to prepare before the hottest day arrives. Make sure your air conditioner works if you have one. Find out where the nearest cooling center is located. Keep water where you can reach it easily. Review your medications with a doctor or pharmacist. Place an indoor thermometer in the room where you spend the most time. Choose one person who will check on you during extreme heat, and identify someone you can check on in return. These steps may seem simple, but simple actions are often what protect independence and save lives. Please share this information with an older adult you care about. One conversation, one phone call, or one visit during a heat wave may be more important than you realize. Stay cool, pay attention to the warning signs, and never ignore a sudden change in how you or someone you love is thinking, speaking, or behaving.